right. Welcome to the Environmental Ambassadors closing ceremony. My name is Marvin Wilson. I work as the supervisor for this these last 5 weeks. All right, and you all should know in corner back there, she's in charge of all this, been doing this for about 33 years now. I had the privilege to work alongside these fine teenagers here. All right, so enough of my introduction. Next, we're gonna have a moment of silence, okay? Just be silent for the next 10 seconds, blessing for the evening. All right, so we're just gonna start right now. Okay, thank you so much. And do we have the lyrics on the books? Excuse me. All right. Oh, yeah. And we only have 2. Okay. So can I ask everybody to stand? All who can. Just let every voice to sing.
Unto the praise of his abiding Son. Glory that Jesus be born. We have grown, treading on nothing but blood of the Son. From the gloomy past to the land and lands, where the white gleam of our star descends. God of the weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast known us thus far, thou who hast by thy mindless into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. to our God, to our
For joining in on that. So now we just gonna get started with our presentation. Our first one up is Maria.
Okay. Hey y'all, my name is Ariel, and I'm going to be telling y'all about Linda Lee's story and the Pop. So first, who is Linda Lee? Linda Lee is that's right there. Linda Lee is an African American woman whose friends, family, and herself worked on a farm in Apopka, Florida, at a very young age. As a child, she thought her life was great because she would pick all the different fruits and vegetables that you could think of with her 7 other siblings and dad, and would even have fun with it, no matter how hot or bad the weather conditions were. Why should we care about what happens in Lake Apopka? I feel like we should know. I feel like we should know more about what happened in Lake Apopka because literally nowhere in Lake Apopka do they talk about what happened to the farm workers and all the pain and suffering they went through, because all they wanted was to be heard back in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, and the workers had no say so in anything that happened on that farm in the lake. So it's either they had to deal with what was going on or be without a job. And everybody needed to provide for their families, so that wasn't an option. What happened to the farm workers in Apopka? When planting fruits and vegetables, you get a lot of insects trying to either eat your fruits and vegetables. So the landowners decided to spray pesticides onto the plants and the workers at the same time. But at the time, it was very hot, so the workers didn't think anything about it. So they thought the breeze of the pesticides felt good, and like it wasn't just a little bit. Their clothes were like soaked in pesticides. They were also exposed to pesticides by wind drift, touching plants, wet with pesticides, and directly inhaling these toxic chemicals. No one let the farmers know how life-threatening these toxins were, even when people started getting all these different types of diseases like cancer, reproductive problems, and pesticides that even affected the body's hormone system, and many, many, many more different diseases. And not only did the humans have to suffer, but pesticides would run into Lake Apopka, and the animals would have problems like it would be a two-headed alligator, or animals would have problems with their children, and etc. How did this affect our environment? I quote from Linda Lee, they had the bird deaths, they had the fish deaths. No one did research on us to see what was plaguing our bodies. These former farm workers can and do wind up with conditions like arthritis, respiratory problems, diabetes, coughing, recurring rashes and scarring, lupus, breast cancer, and as well as miscarriages and birth defects. Developmental and learning disabilities in their children, such as ADHD and autism. Today, Linda experienced symptoms like lupus, kidney failure, vision problems, and has had 8 operations. She suffers from long-term chronic effects of decades long days. Okay. With all this happening, Linda witnessed her father passing along with 6 other sisters and other relatives. This was a very sad, depressing moment for Linda, but Linda made sure in the face of this injustice, Linda was going to continue to speak out. So, what would you all do if y'all get really ill? Like, go to the doctor, right? So, of course, it would make sense to go to the doctor while all this is happening. Well, for Linda and her people, great health is almost impossible to get. She needs to take multiple transport, which requires a few hours to get to and from her doctor in Orlando. Of her involvement in medical care and Apopka, she says specialists deal with you like junk. Since you are minority and low pay, her kidney issues are really bad and really issues are really the after effect and clinical misdiagnosis, and these failing prompt her being endures pointless drugs. Okay. Extra facts. So Linda has worked with her local area to make the Lake Apopka Farm Worker Memorial Quilt Project, which is that right there. This blanket unites the narratives of misfortune among farm workers, each square in a turn. The quilt presents to Linda as a recharged expectation and obligation to the situation of the previous Lake Apopka farm workers. She needs to share the tradition of African American farm workers who were the foundation of agribusiness in the state for quite a long time. These schools are a wellspring of approval for the local area. They are unmistakable portrayal of a local area's battle of their misfortune. Okay, and this red bag over here, don't leave that right there yet, but this red bag over here, if you pick the whole bag of fruit and stuff, how much would y'all want to get paid for that?
$5.
I say about $30.
Okay, well, for this bag, they only got paid 80 cents and 12 cents a crate. Okay. Then The High Cost of Cheap Foods, which is this book wrote by Dale Finley, who was inspired after hearing the story about the farmers at an environmental meeting she only went to because of her daughter. Dale wasn't too crazy about the environment until that meeting. Then she felt like she had to let other people know about it somehow. Dale didn't want the book to be just about her, meaning her opinion of how they were treating the farm workers. Therefore, she went out and interviewed most of the farm workers. And most of the farm workers, and they just told their story. And she just told everybody what they went through without mentioning herself. To close everything out, I just want to say everybody should love the environment and try your hardest to just take care of it just by doing the littlest things.
Good job, Aria. Good job. Okay, so we're gonna proceed to the next person, which is Khalees.
Everyone's very tired. Want to laugh a little bit?
Right.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Khalees, and I'm gonna be mainly talking about water, but I'm gonna be talking about some places that we went to. Okay, so first I want to talk about Sweetwater Branch Creek. Before the start of the Gainesville Mall, the beginning of Sweetwater started. Now in the area, there are auto shops, gas stations, and other buildings. 2/3 of the creek is now covered with pavement also. Sweetwater goes through the Floridian Aquifer through a lateral sink called Drain of the Prairie. The Floridian provides 80% of the drinking water to residents too. There also is wildlife in the Gainesville area. There are woodpeckers, red-tailed hawks, owls, and ospreys. We need to keep our creeks clean because some animals live in these creeks, and we need to stop building over creeks and ponds because there's wildlife and that's water that the animals need. I also have found that Sweetwater Branch is listed as impaired for fessile coliform because higher levels of fessile matter has been found in water samples from the creek. Some sources are wildlife, wild animal waste, leakage from sewer lines, and domestic animal waste. There even is Duck Pond. The Duck Pond is also a creek too. The duck pond used to have animals living in that creek, but now there isn't any because people aren't keeping their water clean. And that isn't good for the environment or the animals. There even is a little stream or creek behind the downtown library that has water in it, and people aren't keeping the water clean. The, the people aren't keeping the water clean there. And this is pictures of Sweetwater Branch Creek, these three, and this is the duck pond. Next, I want to talk about Butler Beach. Butler Beach was named after Frank B. Butler, who purchased the land in 1927 as the first beach in the region where Black people were allowed. Frank B. Butler was born in DuPont, Georgia in 1885. Butler Beach became the only stretch of beach between Daytona Beach and American Beach, north of Jacksonville, where African Americans were allowed to enjoy the sand and the sea before all of the beaches were for the use of only white people. And this is from back then of Butler Beach, and that's Frank B. Butler. Next, I want to talk about red tide. Red tides are phenomenons of discoloration of sea surface. It is a common name for hormonal algae blooms occurring along coastal regions, which are resulted from large concentrations of aquatic microorganisms such as protozoans and unicellular algae. Red tide is also harmful to humans aside from marine organisms. It can produce toxic chemicals, also leading to respiratory irritation for people with severe or chronic respiratory conditions such as asthma. And this is what red tides look like, and all the fish that are dying from red tide. You can see that's a lot of fish. So I just wanted to add this. Does anybody know the movie The Lorax?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is from the movie The Lorax, where the man was cutting down the trees and he was building on their land and polluting their water, as you can see here. And you can see they're covered in oils and the fish had to leave. So I basically put this just to show you how you need to keep your water clean because animals live in these waters. Also, I wanted to talk about Sweetwater Branch and Butler Beach because that is also a water area where animals and people go to the sea, and you wouldn't want to come to a place where there's dirty water. So that is another reason why I wanted to add this. So to end this, I just wanted you to know that you need to keep your water clean for the environment and because you want it to be a beautiful place where people can enjoy the creeks and the beach. Thank you.
Thanks for that, police. All right, so the next presenter up is Sydney.
It's not on.
Huh?
No,
No,
there's not.
Thank you, Ramon.
I got it. Sorry for that.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Sydney, and I wanted to start my presentation off by asking the question, does anybody know where their trash goes? I don't know. Well, it goes to Levita Brown Transfer Station. That's where it goes. Levita Brown Transfer Center / Station, whichever one. It's located on 63rd Avenue of Gainesville. It's a place where you personally can bring your garbage, recyclables, scrap metals, yard waste, or hazardous waste. But it also just collects your trash that you throw into the dumpster every day. Before the station was made in 1999, Alachua County had landfills. There are no active landfills now because they are all filled up. Once we couldn't find anywhere for our trash to go, Union County offered to take our trash. So this is a picture from when we all went to Levita Brown Transfer Station, and they have a bulldozer and it pushes all that trash back, and then eventually it's compacted into squares like this, and that was everywhere. That was all on the side of the station. I also would like to talk about your ecological footprint, which is the quantity of nature it takes to support people or an economy, meaning how much water, gas, electricity, etc. that you would use in your lifetime and the impact that will leave on the environment. I bring this up to say this. What do you think happens to your trash? Does it go in and burn? Does it decompose and is never seen again? Here's your answer, no, it is not. Your trash will leave an impact on the earth no matter what. One thing you will want to try is to lower your ecological footprint. So this is your ecological footprint. Basically, it's a footprint, but this is all the stuff that you will use up in your lifetime. How much water, gas, how much waste you'll use, how much electricity you'll use. So this is everybody has one. And when you die, this is what you leave behind. To continue, the transfer center station is important because they try to recycle as much of your trash as possible. This includes plastics, tires, glass, mulch, and even gas. This helps reduce the amount of waste. Alachua County produces 600 to 1,000 tons of waste every day, and without the transfer station, that number could be raised. From personal experience, seeing all the trash they will have will make you want to change your mind about how much trash you're throwing away. My next slide is called Reuse, Reduce, Recycle. Recycling is very important to keep our planet clean. However, many people forget the reuse and reduce part of this. Reusing items that you were going to throw away can help reduce the amount of trash as well. Instead of throwing away that shirt, give it to your little cousin or your niece. Instead of putting that couch out of the dumpster, take it to thrift stores or the repurpose center. Think about the materials used for those items and the amount of energy used to make them. Then you might change your mind about throwing it away. So these are normal recycle bins that you can see all out on the street. And this is a picture of the ones we have up there. You can get these from GRU, call them, ask them for it. And it'll go on your bill that you pay for your trash. And they will come and pick it up every Wednesday, I think it is. So yeah, so it's good to have these. To continue, then there's the reduced part of recycling. Instead of over-consuming, only buy what you need. Also, try to reduce the amount of trash you throw away. You can do this by using more reusable items like reusable bottles and containers. All of that can help reduce the amount of trash you throw away and reduce your ecological footprint. Also, think about it like this. Think about the amount of energy needed to dispose those items. Think about lowering the amount of energy you use in your life. So I start this slide off with a question, and I would like honest answers. What would you do if you're walking and you see trash in like a ditch?
I would leave it there.
You would leave it? Would anybody else actually leave it, or would anybody pick it up? You would leave it? Mm-hmm. Thank you for your honesty. Okay, trash can be found anywhere, literally anywhere, even in our water. Trash is constantly thrown into ditches, creeks, and even sewer drains. What do you think happens to that trash? It doesn't leave. It may break down, but if it's plastic, it just breaks down into smaller pieces that are not visible to the eye sometimes. And as the plastic is floating in our drinking water, it's being used by the animals we eat and the water we drink. Think about that for a second. We are eating and drinking plastic, and if that sounds fine with you, then there's something wrong. There's trash in our fish and our aquifers, not only trash, but oils and liquids that we just pour outside without thinking twice about it. Our waters are polluted with trash. Please, everyone, please throw your trash away. Recycling it would be even better. Those are just some ways to lower pollution. Ignore that in parentheses. The thing about recycling is many things aren't recyclable as some people may believe. So I'll help you and tell you some simple things that are and aren't recyclable. So this is just a picture of, sorry, it's back on you, like pictures of Sweetwater Creek, I think, that has trash in the water. So this side is what can be recycled. You got newspapers, glossy magazines, cardboard, plastic drinking bottles, aluminum cans, milk cartons, empty ice cream containers, empty roll-on deodorant bottles, clear plastic lids. This side, plastic bags or recyclables inside plastic bags. Takeaway coffee cups, disposable diapers, napkins, garden waste, styrofoam, bubble wrap, syringes or medical waste, oil, ceramics, ovenware, light bulbs, paint, tires. Now, I know you can take your plastic bags to grocery stores like Publix, they will take them for you. And medical waste and oils, paint, tires, light bulbs, Levita Brown Transfer Center, hazardous waste will take all that for you. And everything else will really just have to go into trash. Now, this slide is just to show my hate for these black styrofoam takeaway containers, because some of them say they are not recyclable. Some of them say they're recyclable, but they are absolutely not. So, you know, when you go out to eat and you get these, they are not recyclable. It would be even better if we could find another way to get our takeaway food, but this, I just don't like seeing these. They lie to you and tell you they're recyclable, they are not. Please do not throw these in the recycling bin. I would also like to bring up Mr. Butler's farm, not the one Khalees talked about. Mr. Butler is a third-generation cattle farmer. His cows get drinking water from wells that refill themselves, so he has wells set up in the ground. I introduced him to say this: if his water was to get affected by all the pollution, it would affect the cows, which affects our food. It will also affect us humans that eat the cattle he sells, and it will also affect him because it's his cattle. He would have to spend a lot of money to clean up all that and get his cows back. He lives off his cattle, so if his cattle was getting sick, he would really suffer from that. And these are pictures of his beautiful cows. They were really cute. They were a little aggressive, but they were really cute. And the wells were just on this side of the picture. I didn't get one, but yeah, these are his cows. And to end my presentation, I would just like to have a few reminders. One, Levita Brown will take your trash, but always try to reuse as much as you can. Try to help lower how much energy you are using, meaning if that's, well, since we're talking about trash, try to reuse and reduce how much trash you are throwing away. Remember, you are not the only person that uses the water, so before throwing trash in on the ground or in a ditch, try to throw it in the trash because we all drink that water. And that is my presentation. Thank you all.
Presentation. All right. So now we're going to insert a poem by Nkwenda Jah.
Good evening. I want to first say thank you to the parents who have allowed me the opportunity to work with your child this summer. This has been one of my best groups that I've had. And as Marvin said, this is my third year. I have 2 poems. The first one, I'm going to start with the lighter one first. I first read this poem at my 6th grade graduation. It's called Trees. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the sweet earth's flowing breast. A tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. A tree that made in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. I never dreamed in the sixth grade I was going to be reading that poem. Even then. This next poem I did write, though I'm a part-time poet, I write for occasion, so I wrote this poem a couple years ago. It's called Whatever. You can call it climate change, global warming, or whatever. I call it disrespecting the earth. Disrespect to God, the creator, Mother Nature, Goddess, or whatever. Too many of you walk around proclaiming to love God, but instead of the love, you heap your garbage upon the earth, produced by your addictions to things that hurt the earth, polluting the air, the water, the very dirt for which we get our food, disrespecting all of God's creations. Too few lift a finger to protect and preserve that which is vital to sustain life, making it difficult for this generation, the next generation, or any future generation to enjoy the earth as we have known it. I pray I see the day when you mankind, civilized people, come to love what God, the creator, Mother Nature, Allah, or whatever has made as much or possibly more than what man has made. Find out what you can do, not to show me, your parents, your children, your neighbors, your friends, but to show God, the creator, Allah, Mother Nature, Jesus, or whatever, to help restore, protect, and preserve what has been given to us by God, the creator, Goddess, Allah, Mother Nature, or whatever. If each of us does this, we won't need to fear climate change, global warming, or whatever.
Right, beautiful work, Ms. Joe. Beautiful work. All right, so we're gonna proceed with the presentations. Next one up is Evandra.
Hi, everybody. I'm Evandra Alvera. Today I'll be talking about the importance of our food. Now I'd like to start with a question. Do you think about where your food comes from?
No.
Thank you. Our food comes from farms. I'd like to introduce you to two farms we went to in this program. Siemba Farm, which is an organic crop farm, and Mr. Butler's farm. Siemba Farm is a local farm in Gainesville, and what they do is they grow their food organically, which means they don't use pesticides and they don't use any artificial additives like preservatives. And what they do on this farm is they use sustainable farming, which means they use crop rotation, cover cropping, and limited fertilization. This keeps their food healthy, it keeps their soil healthy, and keeps us healthy. I'd like to point out that some people think that organic farms are too expensive compared to modern industrial farms. I believe that's an unfair comparison due to the fact that organic farms require more work and more labor, and they're healthier for us. Mr. Butler's farm is one of the few Black-owned farms in Florida. What he does, he doesn't use his antibiotics excessively, and his cows have land to move freely. But not every farm is the same. Some farms use bad farming practices. These farms are used for monetary gain only. They destroy the environment and they make land unable to sustain life. They use excessive fertilizer, which causes runoff, which destroys aquatic ecosystems. And they don't rotate their crops or use cover crops, which causes erosion and depletes the soil of any nutrients. And some animal farms give their animals terrible living conditions, as you can see, and they use so many drugs on animals that when it gets into our body, it makes us unable to fight some diseases that we may get. I have an important tip for you, and that's to eat locally. Local food is fresher, it's healthier, it has more nutrients because they don't need to transport their food all over the country. It supports our local economy and it's beneficial for our environment. Now this comment here. Now, I'd like to ask you another question. Do you use pesticides? And if so, where do you think they go once you're done with them? Pesticides drip. They seep into the soil, they get in water. People don't often think about that. A lot of people, once they use pesticides, they're done. It does its job, it kills some animals, it kills some bugs, and then that's over. The truth is that pesticides move by wind and water. They get everywhere. It's extremely dangerous and it's extremely deadly. There's a long list of the symptoms of pesticide poisoning: diarrhea, nausea, blindness, neurotoxicity, kidney and liver damage, birth defects, developmental changes, altered behavior, stinging eyes, rashes, blisters, reproductive effects, endocrine disruption, and cancer. But who's the most affected? Children are the most affected because they can't get rid of poisons in their body as quickly as adults can. And also, I'd like to mention historically, Black farmers in Apopka were sprayed with pesticides constantly. And most of them have died due to pesticide poisoning without any compensation whatsoever. Now I'd like to end in summary to give you a list of do's and don'ts. Eat locally, buy locally, and limit your use of fertilizer to save our environment and our soil and our water. Don't use pesticides and don't buy from outsourced farms.
Presentation, Andrew. Continue on with the next person, and that'll be Jay.
Good evening. I'm Jay, a senior at Eastside High School, and I'm going to present Ways of the Water. So water is a part of our everyday life, and we use it for many things, but we're also abusing it. We take it for granted and don't even know it. So now's the time to bring awareness to these vital issues. One, we're using too much water. So to limit the amount of water we use at home, you can shorten your showers to about 6 minutes because long showers aren't necessary. and this can preserve 25 to 30 gallons of water. Also, don't leave the water on when washing or rinsing your dishes. And when gardening, use mulch around your plants because mulch locks in moisture and slows its evaporation. Water pollution occurs when we humans contaminate our bodies of water. We throw away trash like outside on the ground. We use pesticides and oils. So pollution, one way we can not pollute the water is by throwing away our trash in trash cans or recycling it out on the street. And pollution affects animals, especially manatees. Our manatee population is suffering due to fertilizers, sewage, and manure runoff, causing an algae issue. And they're losing their homes, coming in contact with boats, ships, and building along waterways, destroy their natural nesting areas. Pollution also causes animal mutations, and causes of mutations are pesticides sprayed in fields that run off into lakes, which can lead to many problems. They have a horrible impact on alligator hormones, causing mutations and reproductive issues. They can also claim the lives of fish and birds who use that water. Humans, how do we use water and how are we affected? So we use for a week, we enjoyed a week focused on water. We visited local creeks, springs, and the beach, and even kayaked. And if we pollute our waters, we won't have anything to enjoy. And we need water activities. So for our water week, we went to the springs. And what is a spring? Springs are bodies of water that flow from an aquifer to Earth's surface. They're also a component of the hydrosphere. 8 billion gallons of water flow from Florida springs each day at a constant 72 degrees, according to AuthenticFlorida.com. And the mouth of Itchitucky, where we visited, is the Santa Fe River. Florida has over 700 springs, the largest amount on Earth. And this is just pictures of us on the went. The Silver River, our tour guide there told us that the color of the water can vary in its rays from clear orange, green, and blue, depending on how weak they are. And in this picture, you can see it's kind of like brown, and it's clear, and it's blue there. Negative effects that it has on us will be illness and death. If we're ruining our sources of water, how will we survive? Miss Linda Lee's granddaughter passed away from using the contaminated water in the popcorn. And we're throwing plastic in the water that eventually ends up in our bodies, and we're left with sickness and disease. Plants that help clean the water. One plant would be cattails. They soak up the toxins in the water. And this is just a scientific name, typhoid. And then the brown part of the plant is the male, and the female part is the pollen. And we must be mindful of how we treat our water because we depend on it for many things. Everything around us utilizes water, and if we don't protect it, we aren't protected. Thank you all for being here and listening to what myself and the other ambassadors have to share. And that's it.
Good job, Jay. Good job. Okay, so our next presenter is Rex.
Okay. Hello, my name is Rex Ludor, and I'm a ninth grader that will be attending the Culinary Arts program at Eastside High School. So today I'm going to be talking about what I learned from the Environmental Ambassadors program /job. Yeah. So why do you think they made you go part?
So like kids can have fun, or like just something for people to go to.
Okay. it's for that also, but it's mainly used for, the main reason why they made Depot Park was because in the 1860s to the August of 2016, it was a railroad station that went from the East Coast to the West Coast. And during this time, they realized that they had a 32-acre tract of land with multiple landowners and multiple old sources of contamination, such as gas stations, cement plants, other industrial operations like railroad activities, petroleum gas tank farms, manufactured gas plants, and potentially others. The primary contamination source at the site was the coal tar residue from the former manufactured gas plant. But alas, after years of doing this, the world finally started caring for the earth and decided to change this toxic area and reform it to what Depot Park is more commonly known as a green space or a brownfield, which means a piece of land that was turned from a highly toxic area to a safe and hospitable area for plants, animals, and humans alike. Depot Park 10. So you're probably wondering, how did they do it? Well, there are multiple things they had to do. For instance, one way they cleaned up Depot Park was first they dug 50 feet deep into the earth and moved 147,000 tons of contaminated soil. Then they added new soil there that was clean and safe for all living organisms. For the water, they added plants to heal and show how healthy the water is. One of these plants is called a water fern. They also added a retention pond to fix the water and heal it in the most natural way that they can, which is by using plants that thrive from these toxic wastes. Depot Park also uses the storm water system, and the storm drain system collects and filters runoff from the areas of downtown before it flows through pipes and then Sweetwater Branch to the artificial wetlands of the Sweetwater Wetlands Park at the northern edge of Prairie Spring into our aquifer and then into Prairie Spring. How water is all connected. Did you guys know that all fresh water is connected and in a cycle? Well, this means that all the trash and other items of chemicals that you put into our water, that also goes into that cycle forever until someone either takes it out, or an animal eats it thinking it's food and chokes on it. But let's get back on a more positive note. Like, how is this cycle made? Does anyone want to take a guess? Well, how the freshwater cycle starts is first the water goes from the underground aquifer, and then it goes to the actual aquifer, and it is used, and it either evaporates from the clouds and rains back onto the earth, or pushed straight back on the earth. Either way, the water goes into the earth and sinks into the ground aquifer, and then resumes into the fresh drinking water. Lots of places that treats water. Does anyone know of any wastewater treatment facilities? Yes.
Is it GRO? Where's that?
It's a good question. I know they do electric. I know they do energy and stuff, but I think so. Anyways, well, the one I'm talking about is the Murphy Wastewater Treatment Facility. So first things first, a wastewater treatment facility takes the waste from the water and then sends the newly cleaned water into the aquifer. Sadly, we were not actually able to go to one because of COVID reasons, but we were still able to learn a bit about them and how they operate. So our discussion with the young leaders of Wild Florida. There is this group of environmental protection of environmental protection group that they talked with us. And we talked about things and what we learned, and that made us want to protect the environment. I did not add that piece, but the reason that really made me want to protect the environment is probably because of how many humans who messed it up. I feel like as we humans, we should fix our own mistakes. And that was it.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, and our final presenter is Audrey.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adriana Mosley, and I am 17 years old. I, along with other minorities, am a part of the generation of technology. Who all uses or operates a television? Who all uses an AC that runs throughout the day? Or maybe even a stove that you can't wait for your parents to put to use during holiday seasons. I know that's not. All of these things use some type of energy to operate. Many may not realize, but energy is a part of our environment. Another thing many don't know is that the use of energy and what it takes to operate it is one of our leading causes of global warming, along with being a constant decrease of a number of resources. Oil, natural gases, and coal are the top resources humans use for energy, all of which, although natural, are non-renewable and can pollute the environment. Pollution is the leading cause of global warming, or more specifically, increased concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This brings us back to some of our top resources and the way that they are being used. For example, when natural gases or fossil fuels are burned, they release huge amounts of methane into the atmosphere, along with carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxides. Burning coal also has the same effect, but instead with carbon dioxide. Although oil doesn't contribute as much to global warming as the others, oil can cause water pollution, which is actually even worse, considering the fact that water is in everything that lives and almost everything we use. The way that these resources are found all have something to do with digging under the surface, which leads to deformation. One of these methods is a process called fracturing. Fracturing or fracking is a well stimulation technique using high pressure water contamination, sand, and chemicals, including acid, to fracture underground rock formations to release trapped natural gases and oil resources. This right here is fracking. This could cause contamination to millions of gallons of local waters if the chemicals were to seep through the cracks as well. Another method of removing energy sources is coal mining. With coal mining, the area has to be clear of any trees and vegetation so that the drilling and explosive processes can be done without any objects in the way. The worst part of coal mining is the acid mine drainage that occurs when different minerals and metal particles escape into nearby bodies of water. This is just a few ways that the companies get the resources and how harmful it can be to the environment and people in the area. Speaking of the area, Gainesville has a plan to use 100% clean energy by 2045. Now, I know I'm supposed to be speaking on facts and all, but this sounds very hypocritical. Why? Well, for one, Gainesville Regional Utilities, or GRUs, uses biomass and gas for generating electricity, and we're at one point using coal. Just a few days ago, we visited an employee of GRU who uses solar to power his home. He assured us that the city of Gainesville is more than capable of using solar, but that we are afraid it won't meet our demands. He also didn't fail to let us know that the gas we are using is actually dangerous to the environment, but that it is the cheapest source we have at the moment, along with being high in reliability. As for the coal that was once being used, we also found out that it's still being used because they just got comfortable. If you're like me, you may be thinking, wow, all these negative things just to charge my phone and money. When in reality, it's just done for the money. But there are ways to get back at these evildoers, save the earth, and save money as well. How many of us have ever heard of Florida Power? Like Florida Power and Light Company is the largest company in the United States as measured by retail electricity produced and sold that supports more than 11 million residents across the state with clean, reliable, and affordable electricity. We visited their closest solar farm in Melrose and were shocked to see over 330,000 solar panels that only powers over 15,000 homes. That's about 22 solar panels per home. It might not be able to reach as many homes as we may have hoped, but it is definitely a start to a clean environment. For those who may think that converting to solar energy is a huge step outside of your comfort zone, there are ways to at least reduce the use of energy in your home and in other areas, such as using a surge protector instead of using every plug attached to your home, allow sunlight to come through your windows, switch from incandescent light bulb to an LED light bulb, which uses 75 to 80% less energy and can last for 3 to 6 years. Unplug any appliances that aren't currently being used, etc. All actions have consequences, and the careless actions of damaging the earth for our own selfish acts is causing issues that we may not think too much about. Instead of waiting 20 plus years for better, cleaner energy, we could start today.
I want to thank you all for such awesome presentations.
Yeah.
Definitely sharing what you learned with us. So our next part of this ceremony is closing remarks. And just for any parents or guardians who wants to share anything. Yes, sir. You can speak.
Okay, I see it. So I was just sitting here thinking, I wanna know, did you all like really enjoy the program, like what you learned? Like honestly, did you find interest in what you learned? Yeah. Okay, that's good to hear because I learned a lot just from each of you all's presentation. Some things I did know, but a lot of stuff I learned, and I'm police mom, by the way. So I was sitting here just thinking, I'm like, I really enjoyed this because we need more. I wish that this could have been like presented at Depot Park or something with other families around to hear you guys, because a lot of people aren't aware or they don't see the importance of all that you guys talked about and how much we as a person, as a family, as a household can help our environment, help our community, and it's really important. So to see, all these African American young adults, doing this, that really like, it just makes me feel good. And I hope that more people can get into this and it's important to continue to take this on for the next few years or however many years. I mean, I see y'all take this and can really go somewhere with this, even if you're talking to your classmates at school or some of you going to college, talking to these people about the importance of energy, what you was talking about, a lot of those adults who came to GRU, we say, all right, time to get out that shower, close that refrigerator, turn the light off, because we're looking at the bill and we see this bill going up, but we're not actually thinking of the importance of the environment. We just looking at, the funds that we got to pay out of pocket for this light. So everybody who spoke, that presented, you all said something that I think all of us would take home with us. and talk to somebody else. I have a friend, she has a little garden, around her house, and she doesn't use pesticides or anything like that, so I was like, well, I wish I could invite her here, because she would enjoy this too. And just to say, I used to be with Miss Anquanda in Girl Power. To you,
Sixth grade,
yes,
sixth grade.
sixth grade, a long time ago, so I've known Miss Anquanda for a long time. To have her take my daughter and my other daughter, my youngest daughter, Raven, it's just, she's doing great things. So that's, good job, guys.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to share, rest with my son, and, he thoroughly enjoyed the program. At home, we typically have, time when we talk about our day, when we're about to eat, at least. We try to unplug from all digital devices and have this family time in the evening, so we can talk about our day. And every time he has a chance to talk about this program, it's always been with, great, joy and happiness that he really got a lot out of this stuff, and it wasn't like boring. He got a chance to swim, he got a chance to go on these trips, and so he truly enjoyed the program, and I truly appreciate the program because he got a chance to get out the house over the summer and really get to do something that was productive, and he got a chance to learn a lot about the environment. And I got a chance to learn a lot from you on your presentations tonight, because I knew a little bit about recycling, but I didn't know a lot. And I think I got a lot from what you all presented, and y'all all did a great job. And I hope you all continue on and just be ambassadors to the world about this information, because I'll share this information with people I know as well. But thank you all very much.
I'd just like to say to the young people, awesome job, awesome job. And wouldn't this have been wonderful news today on Channel 20 or WJXT, the stuff that we have to listen to. And to the ones that have crossed my life, my nephew Jay, and of course Rex, I've known at Star Center, and Adriana is my church member. And to all of the rest of you, I say kudos. You spoke well. You had confidence. You knew what you were talking about. And your delivery was sensational. And so what I'd like to say to you is to say to you what my grandmother said to me. And you can take this with you. It says, good, better, best. Never let it rest until you make your good, better, and your better, best. Wonderful job, all of you.
Any more from the guardians and parents?
But I just want to say thank y'all, parents. Well, I'm Nisi. I did the driving sometimes. But I am just blown away. My granddaughter, cousins. Anyway, I love them all these my babies. And I'm gonna tell you, I've learned, because she ain't gonna let me do nothing else. But I've learned some things. I get 2 drinks of coffee, I unplug. Well, I used to leave everything, I just come out and unplug everything. And I've learned. I didn't care about the environment, long as the environment didn't bother me. I care now. And I will pick up a piece of paper. And I normally wouldn't have done that, but I do. Y'all are our future. Y'all have to keep going. Don't stop. Keep it going. And thank y'all for what y'all do. Hey, Quanda, I just want you to keep on. Give me this first. Oh, that's so bad. I am just blown away. I am. Thank y'all. Thank you for sharing that one.
Thank you so much for that, for everybody shared. I just give a few words of my own. Again, I'm Marvin. I was an ambassador in 2003. That was a little minute ago. Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I really only remember the experiences that I had back then, because you're growing up at that time. And to be reintroduced to it, thank you for the opportunity to act as a supervisor, leader in Quantum. But I forgot just how vital it is to not only take care of ourselves, but also our environment. It's the little things. I didn't care about plastic bottles or anything like that. It seems so, not a serious issue at all. But learning just how bad it is, and learning that there's ways that we can, slow that down, reduce that footprint that we're leaving, that's messing up the environment. And I just want to say, just being around y'all learning, it causes me to, I didn't want to say anything in the beginning to share my own experience, I didn't want to step on yours. But just learning about cover crops, ways that you don't have to use pesticides on your fruits, because I'm becoming a vegetarian right now. I won't be up there too long. But just ways to help preserve, again, ourselves and the environment. So I just want y'all, this is 2021. It's gonna be a time when y'all 17 years ahead of us now. I hope y'all don't have to revisit the program again. Hopefully you would, but just revisit what you learned from this experience and carry it forward. Again, I just want to thank y'all. It was a pleasure working alongside the last few 5 weeks. All right. Yes, go ahead.
I like 3 things. All right, I just wanted to say, should I? I just wanted to say thank you. I really enjoy working with all y'all. And I hope I do see y'all again. I remember when I said before, and I was like, I feel like y'all, I can't call y'all friends, y'all never gonna be around, but I really feel like I can call y'all friends now. And I'm really glad that Mr. Carmen brought us all together. And I would like to thank family, friends for helping support all of us through that, including Mr. Carmen, your family. Your family. And I just want to say, it might sound weird, but I love all y'all. Y'all all do things. And we all deserve to have a good environment and clean planet. So I hope y'all take everything that y'all learn out of this, good everybody. I hope everybody takes something out of that. That's all I'm saying.
No pressure. This is cool. All right, so for now, I just want to give special thanks to all of our volunteers. That's Miss Elena, Patrick Irby, Holly Greer from Environmental Protection Department, Roberta Gasmine from the Sierra Club. Don't laugh. All right, so Captain Karen Chadwick, Erica Ritter, John Nix from FPL, Sarah Goff and Amanda Wow at Repurpose Project, Cody Galligan at the Siember Farm, Jeannie Economos and Linda Lee and Apopka at the Florida Farmer. City Commissioner Gail Johnson, County Commissioner Mary Alford, Young Leaders of Wild Florida, Cynthia Barnett, Alvin Butler, Cynthia Gaines, and Wes Will. Thank you. All right. So this is pretty much the end. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna call names. No, you know what?
Call names.
Okay.
Call
Yeah,
names.
let's do the graduation stuff. Okay, Sydney. All right, Felice. Andrew.
That's his finger.
All right, Jake. Maria.
Yes.
Audrey.
I just found out, today that Audrey's great grandmother was my fourth grade teacher.
Last but not least, Rex.
Rex, I don't usually take them right out of, middle school, because I don't think they're quite ready for me yet, but, Rex did, I'll have to rethink that now. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Area, can you buy some Chick-fil-A?
Okay, so last thing, before we leave, we have this sheet that needs to be filled out, just a couple questions from the guardians, the parents. Okay, so I'm just saying these to just have the parent and guardian. They do it. All right, and again, thank you all for coming. All right.
Thank you. I love you. That's why you get it. Thank you. Very intelligent, very smart. Got a good ear. Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. Y'all be so much.